pleasure to be here. As I like to say, I tell you, I listened to Mr. Trahan when he introduced me, my son, okay? But I just want to say to you all that the fact, even being able to be on Zoom calls and share screens and all that kind of a lot of that has to do with what he has taught me, okay? I told him a couple of years ago that I was an old dog that could learn new tricks. And I simply meant that I was willing to learn these new technologies. And because of him and one of my other daughters, Dr. Ruth Ann, my other daughter, Dr. Ruth Ann Lightborn, they have taught me so much about this, the ability to use this high-tech knowledge, this super information highway. So not only they say they're learning from me, but I'm learning from them. You better believe it. And he and I have done some things together, some powerful things together. And I look forward to some of the things we're getting ready to do here at the end of next month. But prayerfully, I just wanted to say again, we've been talking. I am Dr. Frank O'Taylor, the medical director for Senki Global USA. And I take that position I don't take it lightly because this is a powerful, powerful company. It's a one-of-a-kind company. There's no other company on the planet that has taken the time over 40 years to develop formulas, technologies. Some folks may call them supplements, but the bottom line, to design these formulas, these patented one-of-a-kind formulas that actually help the body to heal itself. So it's my pleasure. I've been doing this for almost 42 years now, being a health evangelist. And again, I've worked with maybe 16,000 people. Work with everything from helping them to lose weight, to gain weight, work with their high blood, their diabetes, even cancer and AIDS, Alzheimer's and dementia, fibromyalgia. We've seen all of those sicknesses, all of those diseases, all of those illnesses turned around hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I didn't say that I healed anybody. I said that I saw those sicknesses turned around when the individuals realized that they had to help to reverse, recover, and to restore their own health. And once they learned this, I might have been instrumental in helping to teach it, but once they got it, once they had faith in it and believed that God wanted them well, they got themselves well. And that's what Senki is all about. That's what our director and our founder, the scientific developer of our formulas, that's what he said, is that he wasn't here and that he couldn't develop a formula that could heal any part of the body, but that he could develop formulas that would help the body heal itself. Folks, you still got time to tell someone else, email them, to text them, just tell them, get on this call, because this is going to be a very informative call. I know in the last few months, we've talked a lot about the microbiome, and it is exciting. You know, I've looked at the microbiome for 40 years. We just called it healthy bacteria, healthy microbes back then, and the whole microbiota, but we didn't have the term microbiome until, I guess you might say, within the last 10 years or so. Research has been done on it for a long time, but really coming to the forefront. Scientists were dealing with it, but they realized that now everybody needs a shot. Everybody needs to understand it, because they are so excited about the fact that God's body was a lot deeper than they thought it was. They were overrunning the body. They were cutting out parts that they said were not necessary. They were telling us they were not necessary. My tonsils and adenoids were cut out when I was just a little boy. You know, fresh out the hospital, they cut them out because I was having sinus problems and so forth. And a lot of that had to do with possibly the way I was being fed, even as a little fella, you know, drinking a lot of cow's milk and eating a lot of meat and so forth, so on. Mom was doing the best she could, but she just didn't know. And the key is they've gone against what I would call not medical invention, but medical intervention. They were intervening. They were taking out things that God wanted in the body. They were important. So now they're finding out not only were those items in the body important, but there were other things in the body, other organisms, other parts of the body that they hadn't even recognized were there to the degree that they were there. They saw them, but they didn't know how important they were. and now they're finding out. That is the microbiome. But I'm not going to talk about microbiome today, so to speak. I might allude to it, but today I want to go back, take our time, and I want to talk about something simple. I get questioned, and we're going to open for questions and answers here today. Like always, every medical moment, we give you a chance to ask us questions, because we want to try to be instrumental in answering questions, helping you with the questions that have never been answered through the years. And so we'll do that again today, just like always. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, I want to make it real simple. I want to talk about that owner's manual, okay? And I want to make a comparison. The owner's manual, we know, we find that in the glove compartment of our automobiles. So when you buy a car, you go straight to the owner's manual, you reach in, you know, and you pull out that little book and you can read it, and it'll tell you anything that goes on in that car, anything that has to do with that automobile, you know you can find it in the owner's manual. Why? Because the manufacturer made it. He made it for you so that you would know. And so if it was in a Suzuki, you would have a Suzuki owner's manual. If it was a Ford, you'd have a Ford owner's manual, because Ford made it or Suzuki made it. What I want to talk about today is the two owner's manuals. The owner's manual that you'll find in a mechanical machine like an automobile, and the owner's manual that you'll find in a human machine like the human body. And I just want to make some slight comparisons to help you understand that right now, most of you, listen to what I'm saying, most of you take better care of your automobile than you do of your body. I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. I don't know if you really heard me. We have been what I call miseducated of the population. MOP, okay, we've been mopped up, okay. Miseducation of people. We've been dumbed down. It's called your eyes are wide shut. You're looking right at the truth. And sometimes I like to say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but a lie. You've been sold a bill of goods as it relates to your health, as it relates to your body, your human frame, and you believe a lie. You believe something that's not true. You give most of your money to this lie. You give most of your energy to this lie. And so you believe that the only way that you can get well is by a doctor and doctor's medicines. I'm not knocking the doctors or the medical profession, but what I am doing is I'm holding up the great doctor. Just as Dr. Bahia Diaz, our founder, the medical director, just as he has literally said himself that he's helping the body, he's helping nature heal itself as it was designed to do. He recognized his place in this healing situation, and it was to help the body heal itself. I thought that was powerful, because that's what I have done for 42 years, is worked on helping individuals to see that they could help the body heal itself. So let's look at what we're talking about here. You've got an automobile, and it has an owner's manual. And then we've got the human body. It has an owner's manual also. So it's called the Bible, the Bible. Why Bible? Because God made us, so we should be able to find in his owner's manual how to operate our body, just like we find in our automobile in the glove compartment, the owner's manual, because they made that automobile. But let's look at it. An automobile has to have gasoline. Okay, it runs on gasoline. It runs on a certain octane of gasoline. And that octane of gasoline is decided by the manufacturer. If Ford manufactures, they tell them for that particular automobile, for that particular series of automobile, they tell them what octane of fuel, whether it's 98 or whether it's 85 or 83 or whatever, depending upon the car, the make of the car, the insides of the car, the guts of the car, they tell it what octane of fuel. Now, you can use other octanes, but eventually it's going to do something, and you know it. It's going to destroy the engine of your car. And you've got thousands and thousands. In some cases, you almost got enough to buy a house in that car, so you don't want to destroy it. So you make sure that you put the right octane, and anybody that's going to fill it up, you make sure that they put the right octane of fuel in your car. Well, your body requires some fuel, okay, to help it to work, to help it to go. We're not going to call it food. We're going to call it nutrition, because just any food wouldn't work. It has to be the right what? Octane of fuel. So how do we know what the right fuel or the right food for our body is? Well, we go to the owner's manual. And in the owner's manual, in the beginning, based on the Bible, God gave man food. That was in Genesis 1:29. The first words that he spoke to man was Genesis 1:28, to be fruitful and multiply. In other words, have more little perfect beings like you and Eve to give me glory. That was the first words. But the second words recorded to man was what he should eat. Now, you know, everything that God does, he does it decently and in order. So there was a reason for that, because food was important. And in Genesis 1:29, he said, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. So man's first meat, or his first food, was fruits, nuts, and grains. Those things that grew high up in the air, loftily up in the air. So when man reached up for the food that he had not planted, guess who he was reaching towards? He was reaching towards the manufacturer. He was reaching towards God. Are y'all getting this? It's important. So then the next verse, verse 30, said that he gave the animals that crawled and flew and swam, he gave them the green herbs, and it was so. So their food was on the ground. They ate around the ground, around the feet of man. So they ate the green herbs, man ate fruit, nuts, and grains. How long were we supposed to live in the beginning? Forever. So that means that the fruit, nuts, and grains for man and the vegetables for the animals was forever food. Are y'all listening to me? That was forever food, because it would have kept us alive forever. It's an amazing thing, because the so-called father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, do no harm. We weren't to do any harm. And I don't know, maybe somewhere along the way, all these doctors nowadays that are taking the Hippocratic oath have forgotten, because they've got all these deadly poisons and toxic medicines like chemo and radiation that are actually destroying more tissue than they're saving. You know, they're healing some tissue, or they're getting rid of some bad things, but they're destroying the good tissue and the good cells at the same time. So they're doing harm. So somehow or another, I don't understand. I believe they're taking another Hippocratic oath. Okay, hypocritic maybe they're being hypocrites. I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. So bottom line, we're looking at a body that needed nutrition, and the nutrition was fruit, nuts, grains. And then in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, after man had sinned, God added one more food to it. He said in Genesis 3:17 and 18, cursed is the ground for thy sake. That's because man had sinned and disobeyed, okay? He said, but thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. So now God has said, I gave you fruit, nuts, grains. You sinned, so now I'm going to add vegetables. So he gave you fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. Now the first diet, fruit, nuts, and grains, would help him live forever. We don't live forever, but Adam lived to be 930. Let's see, Noah was 950, Methuselah was 969. So after God alive, during the vegetable phase, they were living to still be 900, almost 1,000 years. So that was a pretty good diet, fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. And if we come out of the Bible and we go to 1973, I'm going to show you why those vegetables were so important and why the diet that God gave in the beginning was important. The Cancer Society, the Heart Foundation, the Diabetes Foundation, the lupus and epilepsy, all of these, the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, all of these health organizations agreed that if man was to eat a certain food, that all these diseases would go away. What was that certain food? Fruit?
Franco,
Yes.
real quick. Are you trying to share your screen?
Yes. No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure. All right.
No. Thanks for asking. No, today we're just going to take it easy, go straight from the hip, and we're just going to have a conversation, like you always say. We're going to have a conversation today. And so, bottom line, all of those And those powerful health organizations all agreed that fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables was the best diet for individuals to get well from those diseases. After all those years, after all those millions and billions of dollars being spent to find the cure, they were actually admitting that a plant-based diet was the best diet of all. And especially for those diseases, they said that the cruciferous vegetables, the green vegetables, were really, really necessary in the body. So now remember, in the beginning, God gave man fruit, nuts, and grains. After he sinned, then God made him go to the ground and pick up food off the ground. Those green cruciferous vegetables were added. And I wondered why. Well, in 1973, when all of the health foundations said that we needed those green cruciferous vegetables, I realized what was going on. You see, most of us, if we had science classes, in those science classes, we learned about something called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll was the blood of the plant. It was the green stuff in the plant that gave it its life, okay? And just like our blood was red, and they tell us that it's really blue-green, okay? And it turns red when the oxygen hits it. But the bottom line is this green chlorophyll inside of the vegetables is what makes it so powerful. And guess what that is? The chlorophyll inside of the plant, the green chlorophyll in the plant, and the red blood inside of our bodies is identical in molecular structure. In other words, it has the same number of carbon molecules, oxygen, so forth, so on. It's identical, except in the middle of the blood, you have iron. And in the middle of the plant chlorophyll, you have magnesium, but the molecular structure is the same. I'm saying that when man messed up and sinned, his blood was tainted. He wasn't going to live forever. He only lived to be 1,000 years old at that point. So he wasn't in the same shape. He wasn't perfect anymore. His blood was tainted. And God gave him the green chlorophyll, the cruciferous vegetable, to do what? Rebuild his blood. I'm saying that God gave him a blood transfusion way back yonder. Y'all getting this? It's fun when you look at how God even has a sense of humor, but he's powerful. He knew what we needed, and we needed the blood transfusion. And that's why the cruciferous vegetables were so important. So I just want you to hear that. Now, that was the food that God gave. Is that the food that we eat today? Nah, we eat pizza, we eat hot wings, we eat barbecued ribs, we eat pigtails, we eat pig guts even. They call them doo-doo shoots. I'm sorry, no, they call them chitlins, okay? So we eat everything. We eat, I know I did. I ate monkey, moose, snake, snail, alligator, Kodiak bear, kangaroo, ate everything because that's what the world said was the coup de grace. And I had to have the coup de grace. I wasn't going to be left behind. And I was sick as a dog. So here's what I'm saying to you. Our bodies need gasoline, okay, in this case, nutrition, not just all kinds of food. Let's look at something else. Not only does the car need gasoline, but it needs oil, okay? So now, where do we find out what kind of oil to use in the car? We find it out from the owner's manual. Well, our body needs oil too. Well, we'll call it nuts and seeds and avocados because they give the body the kind of omega-3, the kind of oils that it actually needs. Are you listening to me? But is that the kind of oil that we put in? And where do we get the nuts and seeds and avocados from? From Genesis 1:29, from the owner's manual, told us to eat the nuts and the grains, okay? But what do we eat? What kind of oil do we put in? Well, we put in animals. We eat animals for it. We use, they say, go get your omega-3s. The best ones to get are from fish oil, okay? So we get our omega-3s from fish oil. Do you think that they just take fish and squeeze oil out of them? No. Do you know where the oil comes from? It comes from the dead skin, the bones, the head, the eyes, the tails, all of the leftover parts, because they take the middle of the fish and they make fillets out of them. They're not squeezing good fillets to make you oil. They used all the waste parts, and that's what they squeeze the oil out. Y'all aren't getting this. And they have to refine it and get all the blood and guts and so forth out of it in order for it to get down to the oil. So what do we put in the car? We put what kind of oil in it? The kind that it was designed to have. So if it's low on oil, what do we go put in it? oil. What kind do we put in? The kind that the manufacturer says. But when we're low on oil, we go and get the kind that the system has told us to get. All right, y'all, I don't know if y'all following this. Instead of getting the nuts and the grains and the seeds, we go and get fish oil. We get ours from animals. So that's not the right octane. Can you see what I'm saying? If you put the wrong oil in the car, you know that that car is going to eventually overheat. You know that the engine can blow. So because the oil is going to get sludgy. And if you don't change the oil, it's going to get sludgy and thick. And pretty soon the car is going to overheat. It can even blow your engine. Are y'all listening to me? The same thing happens in your body. You put the wrong oil in there. It gets so greasy and so waxy. Well, you call it cholesterol, okay? It gets so thick with cholesterol that all of your arteries get like this and you can't get the blood through. And what happens? You end up with a 3, 4, 5 bypass. What does that mean? That means that all of your arteries, your main 5 or 6 arteries have done what? They've been clogged up with the what? The wrong octane of oil. Are you listening to me? The wrong octane of oil clogged them up, and the car could explode. The engine could actually freeze up. The crankcase could blow up, okay, and catch the car on fire. All I'm saying is those same kind of things happen to us when we don't use the right oil. Just trying to get you to see. We're going to open up for questions here in just a little bit, but I want you to see that you've got a part to play in your own health. Physician, heal thyself. God wants you to know how to take care of your body just like you take care of your car, okay? And all you got to do is pay attention to the owner's manual. There's something else that goes in your car. It's called transmission fluid, okay? The engine has to talk to the transmission. It connects to the transmission, and then the transmission part of your drivetrain hits the drive shaft, and it takes the energy all the way to the wheels to make the car move, okay? So you got a transmission. Well, that transmission has to have transmission fluid in it. Now, let me ask you a question. How do you know what transmission to put in it? The owner's manual, once again, it tells you what transmission fluid should go in there. You can't put any transmission fluid in your car. It's based on the manufacturer's instructions, or you'll tear up your car. Okay. Okay. So let's look at what we might call our transmission. Okay. It's our skeleton. It's our bones, because the transmission is pretty much a part of the training. It's the underneath of the car. It's all the metal that goes to and from the engine to the transmission, to the drive shaft, to the wheels. It's like the skeleton of the car, where your body has a skeleton that the energy from the heart tells the muscles and bones and joints what to do, and they move to take you where you're going, if you hear what I'm saying. So now, what kind of transmission fluid goes in your bones? Well, calcium, omega-3s. Oh, I hope y'all are listening to me. And where do you get this transmission fluid? Well, the owner's manual said that you should get it from what? The fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables, especially the cruciferous vegetables, because that's what contains all your calcium. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you thought that calcium came from where? From milk. Well, it does, but it's called calcium enriched. That means that they what? Put most of it in there. I hope y'all are getting this. But the best calcium from your body will come from the green cruciferous vegetables, from the cabbage and from the Brussels sprouts and from the kale. Are y'all getting this? The greens. That's where the calcium comes from. So, and again, your omega-3 fatty acids and so forth, where are they coming from? They're coming from the grains and the nuts, okay? So you give your body what it needs, and someone just said, give your body the right oils or it's going to fall apart. That's absolutely right. Just like your car, it will fall apart. I'm glad that you all are listening, that you're paying attention, that you're getting this, and that it's making sense. So bottom line, your transmission fluid is the calcium, omega-3s that come in from the food, okay? Now, water. Water has to go into the car, and how much water goes in your car, you can find that out where? In the owner's manual. And guess what? Water goes into your body. How do you find out about water in your body? Ezekiel, y'all gotta get this. Get your pens and paper out. Y'all gotta write this down. You should be taking notes anyway, especially if you're a distributor, because you've got to tell your people the truth about why your Senki formulas are so great. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but I just want you to listen to this carefully. In the Bible, in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, verse 11, it simply says this: Ezekiel 4:11 says, thou shalt drink also water by measure. Listen to this, folks. This is going to blow you away. Thou shalt also drink water by measure, the sixth part of an hin, from time to time shalt thou drink it. So it's telling us that we need to drink a measured amount of water every day. Okay, God's giving you some. Not only does He count the hairs on your head, up above that in Ezekiel 4:9, He tells you how many shekels, that's a weight, how many shekels of wheat and barley you should eat. So He's telling you what you should eat every day and what you should drink. I don't know if y'all paying attention to the owner's manual, but it would help you to live a higher quality of life, folks. So here we're looking at 1/6 of a hen from time to time. Now, what is a hen? Well, a hen, H-I-N, is not a okay, it's not a chicken, okay, but it is a part of what is called a bath of water. It's 1.5 gallons or 6 quarts. So a hen equals 6 quarts in Hebrew and in the Greek. So if you're supposed to drink 1/6 of a hen, and a hen is 6 quarts, what is 1/6 of 6? It's 1. 1/6 of 6 is 1. So if you're going to drink that quart, it says drink it from time to time. If you drink it over here, that's 1 time. If you come over here and drink it another time, that's how many times? 2 times. How many quarts is that? 2 quarts. How many glasses is that? Come on, mathematicians. That's 8 glasses. Oh, you come on now. Come on now. You ought to be excited about that. Man has been telling us for the last 70, 80 years that we need to drink 8 glasses of water. And my God sent me the message through the prophet Ezekiel 5,000 years ago, telling me to drink a minimum of 8 glasses of water. I hope y'all are getting it. We're talking about what you can do to help your body heal itself. Then we're going to talk to you about the formulas that will work with your body once you're giving your body what it needs. So y'all listening to me? I hope so, because this is deep. I don't know if you know how deep this is, but mathematically, 8 glasses of water in the book of Ezekiel 5,000 years ago, that's pretty deep. To me, it is. Come on, folks. Come on now. Let's look at this. So now, not only is it just 8 glasses, but there's another little catch to it. If you're, let's just say you weigh 250 pounds, we're going to make you a Ford Excursion because you're a big car. And over here, someone weighs 120. So we're going to make them a Ford Echo. So you've got a little Echo over here and you got a big Excursion over here. They both use water, but which one uses the most water? The Excursion, okay, because it's larger. Can you run an Excursion on Echo water? No. Why? Because the Excursion would eventually do what? Overheat. The hoses would pop and the engine could actually freeze up and explode. Well, what happens to you when you don't get enough water? Your hoses do what? They pop. That's called an aneurysm or stroke. Oh, come on now. And if the engine stops the heart, that's a heart attack. So I'm just helping you to see, just like you take care of your automobile, you've got to take care of your body. It's just as important. It's more important, actually. So bottom line, you've got the water in the body, and what goes in the water? Antifreeze. We put antifreeze in there. That's to help the water keep it from doing what? Getting too cool or getting too hot. All right, if you hear what I'm saying. Well, in our body, we have water that goes in our body. We just found out that you need to put 8 glasses, a minimum of 8, but half of your body weight in ounces of water every day, pure water. And we'll talk about that at another time, what pure water means and why. But the bottom line is, in your water, you have to put some antifreeze in there too. They're called electrolytes. They're found in your water, and they come from that nutrition that you're eating. Your electrolytes are things like sodium and potassium and calcium and bicarbonate, okay? They help the body, and where do they come from? They come from the live fruits and vegetables, and they help with transmission of the neurotransmission to your brain, these electrolytes, okay? So what happens, what else is in your car? Lately, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, we found out about something called sensors. Sensors. These are little things, little plug-ins in the car that if the car gets too hot, they let you know so you can cool it down. If it gets too cool, they let you know. If it's running too fast, they can slow the car down. If it's going too slow, they can let you know it needs to speed up. If it's overrun, it'll shut the car off. These are sensors, electronic sensors in the car. Well, there's sensors that your body has too. They're called neurotransmissions from the brain. In other words, if you're not happy enough, then the serotonin and dopamine and so forth, the body makes these neurotransmissions, these electrolyte situations in your body so that you can feel happy. Okay, if you're too sad and you feel hated, okay, if you're too tired, then you need some dopamine. You need something to pump you up a little bit, and the body can make this. Serotonin is the greatest of these, and it helps with the making of the dopamine and the adrenaline and the GABA. These are happy things that the body needs. These are happy hormones. These are energy hormones, okay, to go against the sadness and the anxiety and the depression and so forth. And we find out that these are made where? In the microbiome, in the gut. They're made in the stomach. They're made from the nutrition that you give the body. So if you're not giving it nutrition, then your gut is not getting what it needs, and it can't tell the brain. So yes, these things are brain neurotransmitters, but they're made in the gut from the nutrition that you eat. I hope you're hearing me. If you want your brain to have what it needs, and your brain, weighing about 3 pounds, it requires over a third, 33% of the nutrition that goes in your body. So if you're eating scrambled eggs, no nutrition. If you're eating macaroni cheese, no nutrition. If you're eating animal products, no nutrition. If you're eating cooked food, little or no nutrition, then if your body needs a third of the nutrition and you're not getting any nutrition, then nothing from nothing leaves nothing, then there's nothing going to your brain. Are y'all listening to me? You're wondering why you can't remember anything. You're wondering why you can't pull your vocabulary of words up. You're wondering why you can't make a good decision, why you get sad so easily, why you feel like everybody's talking about, why you've got all this anxiety and fear of things that are not really fearful. Are y'all listening to me? It's simply because you're not eating enough of the right nutrition to feed the microbiome in your body. Your gut needs to be fed so it can send the nutrition to the brain. Oh, I hope y'all are listening to what I'm saying. So what you need for brain health and brain sanity is what? Good nutrition. So again, where does good nutrition come from? It comes from the live, fresh fruits and vegetables, okay? You can eat, I'm not saying you can't eat dead food, and I've always said that I'm not saying you're gonna die and go to hell because you eat animal foods, but if you gotta eat stuff that doesn't give you any nutrition, if you're gonna put the wrong octane of fuel in your car, if you're gonna, you need to put some of those fuel additives in there to clean it up. If you're listening to what I'm saying, if you're gonna put the wrong oil in there, then you need to put some of those additives in the oil to help the oil work better. And so what are the additives that go in your body? The right fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables, not cooked. Are you listening to me? To go with the other stuff that you put. If you're gonna put the wrong in, you gotta put some right in. How much right? I don't know. How well do you wanna be? How far up do you want your energy to go? How far down do you want your blood pressure to go? How far down do you want your sugar level to go? How far in do you want your waistline? That's going to be determined. That's going to help to determine how much live fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables you eat. Are y'all getting this? And once you've done that, then we can start talking about things like the Balage, okay? For those of you who are not doing like you're supposed to, the Balage gives you 300 metabolites. Metabolites are the end of nutrition, the end of the nutrition being metabolized in your body. That's going to give you the ability to create energy in the body. All the processes need energy. It's going to give you the ability to replace damaged tissue, worn out tissue, damaged by whatever means, okay? And then it's going to give you the ability to remove the wastes out of the blood, through the bloodstream, out of the body, through the bowels, out of the body, through the urinary tract, okay? That's what metabolites will do for you, okay? And so, thank you very much, sir. You're a godsend. That's called, my wife was telling me this morning, what is that called? When one brain goes to another, it's something. Can't think of it right now. I'll think of it before we get off. But that's telepathy. That's mental telepathy, where one brain goes to another brain. I recently realized that I didn't have my screen on that I could pull up, and my son Tim Trahan, our sales director, knew what I needed, and he put it right up there. So we're talking about the Balaj. The Balaj is the first formula that was put together by Dr. Bahia Diaz. Took 40 years in development and research to come up with the nanotechnology, to come up with the cold fermentation process, in which he put things in there like 14,000 billion antioxidant molecules with the nanotechnology, which would immediately go in and flush the system and do what? Improve the blood circulation. The blood is going to bring what? All of those electrolytes that we were talking about, the serotonin and the dopamine and the adrenaline, the things that we need when we need to take off, the things that we need when we need to feel happy, when we need energy. All of those peaceful things are created from the nutrition. But if we're not getting that nutrition, then Balaj helps to put that in through a cold fermentation process to help improve the blood circulation. In the Bible, in the owner's manual, we read in Leviticus 17:11 that the life of the flesh is in the blood. That is so true. As your blood circulates, and that's what all of our formulas do, they help the body to do what? Circulate at what? At the microcellular level. And as that happens, the body can reach 7.5 on the scale. I just drank a little bit of Balaj since we're talking about Balaj, but it also increases hydration. Most of the times when people go in the hospital, most of the time they are what? Dehydrated. Sometimes they go in for dehydration only. They're having all these symptoms. They're feeling weak. They can't think. Their memories are going. Their minds are going. It's almost as if they're going into dementia. Are you listening to me? And all it is that they're dehydrated. Women go in to have baby. They're having Braxton Hicks, which is false delivery symptoms. And they go in and there's not time for the baby. They're just dehydrated. So dehydration is important. Hydration is important to keep down dehydration. And the Balaj helps to flood. It actually gives the system what we call an inner shower. It like flushes the system. It helps it to become hydrated. Very, very important. It reactivates our body's antioxidants. It comes with, like I say, 14,000 billion nanoparticles with antioxidants to help refurbish the body, to help reboost the immune system. Are you listening to me? And again, it increases the energy production naturally. I'm going to come back and talk about it again in just a minute. But then there's the inner seven. We were talking a minute ago about those electrolytes, those sodium and calcium and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well, inner seven has all of the 60 minerals that the body needs, especially magnesium, the most necessary mineral in the body. So we were talking about the right things to go into that machine, that human machine, the body itself, and that's nutrition. And if you're not getting it, if you're eating macaroni cheese and pizza and hot dogs and hamburgers and ribs and barbecue, and are y'all listening to me? And oysters and crabs, and if you're eating all dead stuff, you're not getting this nutrition that's needed that you will find in the inner seven. Plus, the inner seven does what? It balances your pH. It helps the body to reach a pH of 7.5. That means homeostasis. That means automatic. The body is working on its own. Okay, we're getting done with this. That's the Hasaki. The inner seven. It comes from 3.5 miles down in the Okinawa Ocean, 300 and something meters of purified seawater. Then we have the Quinui. Well, we'll do the Hasaki. The Hasaki basically is our food enhancement, not replacement. It has 596 of these metabolites that are necessary. It's basically what the body gets from the nutrition that you're giving it. If you're not giving it nutrition, then you need something like the Hasaki, okay? Again, it helps to improve the intake absorption of protein by over 20%. It increases the oxidation of fat. It helps with that burning, that thermogenesis, to help burn up fat. And we're going to talk about that real powerfully when we get the Kunui, but it provides energy to the trillions of mitochondria, and it nourishes the microbiota with over 596 metabolites. Your microbiota, your microbiome, the healthy bacteria that starts at your mouth and goes all the way to the anus, and most of it actually is found in the cecum, over 70% of it. But it's this microbiome that literally breaks down the food and creates in the body the various things like those electrolytes we were talking about, like those hormones that are needed for safety and for peace and so forth, so on. All of those things are created in this microbiome, in the microbiota. And if we're putting the wrong stuff in, then it can't do what's needed. So it doesn't make it to the brain. It doesn't make it to the heart. It doesn't make it to the liver and to the kidney. In other words, the right information doesn't make it. The right nutrition doesn't make it because there's none going in. And so these organs begin to falter. But it's not the problem in the head. It's not the problem in the heart or in the liver or in the kidney or in the bones. The problem is where? In the stomach, in the microbiota. That's why it's so important that we learn to put the right foodstuffs, the right nutrition into the body so that this microbiome, this gut of ours can do what? Send good nutrition, good metabolites, good antioxidants, good enzymes, are y'all getting it? Good vitamins, good minerals to where they're needed so that the body can function, especially the brain, the way it was designed to function. So that's what you find in the Hasaki. It gives energy to the trillion of mitochondria and the microbiota with the 596 metabolites. Just powerful to give the body what it needs. And for those of you who are really on me lately about it, as we speak, there is a vegan formula of Hasaki in the process right now as we speak. So it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Have faith, it is coming. I'm waiting on it too, it is coming. The Kunui is our supplement that helps with the A1C, with the diabetes and with the high blood and with the obesity, because it helps with thermogenesis. It helps the body to burn up those enriched flours and sugars and those caramelized fats so that you basically, the body can begin to do what it needs to do. You wake up in the morning, it has burned up the fats, the sugars, the starches. It has taken them out of the system and has turned them into energy, and they go straight out and they don't stay in the bloodstream. So you wake up with low blood pressure, low sugar level, and waistline going in. And again, it contains some powerful things. We won't get into all that today, but just know that we've got something here that helps to burn the fats, the starches, and the sugars at night while you sleep. Something here to feed the body with the nutrition that it needs. The inner seven, that's the Hasaki. The inner seven gives us the minerals that the body needs to stay hydrated, to build and strengthen the bones, the joints, and so forth. And then the Balaj, we'll finish by saying that the Balaj has white paper, that's proven scientific paper that the trials that have been done on it have been proven to stop, block, and inhibit the growth of what? Even cancer and AIDS cells. But definitely it has worked with what? All of the viruses available. As influenza A, influenza B, gastroenteritis, even SARS. We're talking about the cousin to what? The cousin to COVID. We're basically saying that this formula has everything that it takes. All of our formulas have their own research manuals, but it can be found in the medical news, which is the JAMA, which is the Bible of the doctors. All of these can be found in there. Our microscanner, which allows us to literally look inside your blood, show you what it looks like. You drink the Balaj, and within 20 minutes, you'll watch your blood recover, reverse, and restore itself. You can see the fat being dissolved, the inflammation being removed. You can see parasites running out of the system. You can actually see the mitochondria beginning to beat. You see the circulation taking place in the tiny capillaries. You see them stretching out, and you can actually see the blood running around them like it's supposed to, and you can start feeling it instantly in your body. Reversing, recovering, and restoring takes place with our formulas, especially the Orazade enzyme that you're going to find inside of the Balaj. So again, just wanted to let you know that your body is fearfully and wonderfully made, and if you give it what it needs, if you eat the plant-based foods, drink your water, exercise, all the things that we talk about, you'll give the body what it needs. Then you add to it our formulas, those 4 formulas we just talked about, that will assist the body in healing itself. As always, folks, it's a plum pleasing pleasure. Look forward to talking with you on the next one, next medical moment. And until then, may God bless.